Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to give you a little personal update. This isn't really clinical, but I'm going to tell you why I haven't made any videos for a while. So, back in February, my patient gave me COVID. It was my first time getting COVID on the 5-year anniversary of the pandemic. I remember very clearly who it was and when it happened. But now it's April, it's the end of April, and I still have symptoms. So, lucky me, a healthy middle aged woman. I have no medical conditions, I take no medications, I've had all my COVID vaccines, and yet I still got long COVID symptoms. I am hopeful that they will get better and they will eventually go away. It's not permanent, fingers crossed. But this is to remind you when you are sick, stay home because you don't know how this virus or any virus is going to affect anybody else. So that's why I haven't made any videos in a while. I have a ton of fatigue. So my long COVID symptoms are fatigue, and I have like heart palpitations, like my heart will just race randomly for no reason and it will like stay elevated, which I think probably also contributes to the fatigue. It's very, very strange feeling. It feels like anxiety, but it's not anxiety. I don't know how else to describe it because I've tried, so I can tell you this. As a physical therapist, I'm like, okay, I know about exercise, some heart stuff, right? I tried to breathe it out, try to relax it out, meditate it out. No, it's not physiological in that way. And so I can just kind of deal with it. And then a couple times I've been like, all right, my heart rate's elevated. Let me go exercise and see if that will kind of like help it work itself out. That feels even worse. And what I realized from that is it feels so disconnected because my heart rate is really fast, but like I'm not breathing heavily. I'm not tired in like a normal workout kind of way. So it just fatigues me faster. It's very, very like bizarre feeling. So let me just go back to the beginning. So I remember this day very clearly. This patient came in and he was like kind of coughing, but like not really a sick cough. And in pelvic floor therapy, we're like face to face for an hour. I run the air purifiers. I wasn't wearing my mask. I kind of wear it intermittently now, And I remember thinking like, should I wear a mask? But I'm like, no, nobody comes in here sick. I'm very, very clear in my policies of like, yes, you need to come to your appointments, but if you're sick, do not come. It's in every single reminder, like, if you're sick, please reschedule. I have masks in the office, like, I take it very seriously, and this is why. The one thing I can say I'm so grateful for that none of my other clients got it from me or from that patient. Thank God. So that person came in on a Monday. Luckily, I had no one right after them. They coughed in my face for an hour, breathed in my face for an hour. Like I said, it wasn't like a sick cough and it wasn't like coughing. It was just like a little cough. But breathed in my face for an hour. So I think that's why I got it. Because I've been around other people, but never someone like breathing directly into my face. So anyway, I definitely wear my mask a lot more now than I was. Anyway, so that was a Monday. That person came in. Monday was fine. Tuesday was fine. Tuesday night I had a tiny bit of a sore throat, but like didn't really think anything of it. I saw one of my friends Tuesday night. Luckily, we went for a walk outside. I luckily also didn't have any other like social obligations those 2 nights, so I didn't see any other friends. I woke up Wednesday, I felt like death. And I thought I had the flu because the flu was really bad this winter. And one other time in my career, my very first year working, I forgot to get the flu shot and I had the flu and it felt the same to me the first couple days. Like I just could not get out of bed for like 3 days. And then my boyfriend was like, "Did you test for COVID?" And I was like, "Oh, no, well, I guess I should." And it was like immediately positive and dark. And I was like, oh, yep. So then it got better. It took me like it was very positive for 6 days. And then it was faintly positive for like 3 more days. And then it was finally negative. And I kind of developed a little cough like halfway through, and that lasted a few weeks. But the fatigue has been incredible. And so I was cautious going back to activity afterwards. But, at first I just thought, like, oh, it's just me getting over sickness. I'm careful. But this is like a different kind of fatigue. And so if you have this COVID fatigue, let me know in the comments because it is different. So like the couple things that I was doing, I play volleyball, so I was playing volleyball like 2 times a week. And I remember one day driving home and just like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna make it home. Like I was just like so tired and I just wanted to like close my eyes and go to sleep. So that was scary. And then I started playing less volleyball, but I play on a team and I'm like, it's the one thing that's like my physical activity and like socializing, it's important to me. And it's also, I'm the captain, I'm in charge of it, which I could delegate that to someone else. But so I like, after that, stopped playing volleyball except for once a week on my game. And it still happened a couple times after my games. I'd be driving home like, oh my God, I need to get home now. So that's really awful. And then the other weird thing that would happen after volleyball is I would feel really lightheaded and dizzy, and my blood pressure would plummet, and it would be like in the 100s over like 60s. So taking a shower was also really scary. Like, I don't want to pass out in the shower. So I would like eat a bunch of salty snacks, drink a bunch of like Gatorade and water, didn't matter. So that's like how I can tell the difference. It's not just normal exercise fatigue, it's like this other COVID fatigue. I also am a physical therapist, so I've read the research, and yeah, the research says that exercise training doesn't help with COVID fatigue. And I can personally testify to that now. Because also at the very beginning, I was doing really lightweight workouts, and I would just get to this point of like, oh, I know I can't do anything anymore. And I would stop, and it would be like literally 10 or 15 minutes of weights, and not heavy either because it was right after the acute phase and I was trying to get back into it. I also bought a smartwatch for the first time. I generally don't want a smartwatch. I don't want more data. I get a little bit obsessed with data. So for me, it's not healthy. But when I started to feel the heart symptoms, I got a smartwatch to track it, and it correlates to what I feel. So like also the increased heart rate sometimes happens in the middle of the night. And I realized after the smartwatch, I could see like if I had a spike, that's when I woke up at night, because generally I'm a pretty good sleeper, but there was a correlation. So finally, after 6 weeks, I went to my primary care doctor, and I was telling her all this stuff, and she listened to my lungs. My lungs are fine. I don't think she listened to my heart, but she did an EKG in the office and it was fine. And she was like, aren't you happy? You're not having a heart attack? Like everything's normal. And I was like, actually, that was my worst fear of what would come from this appointment. But she did refer me to cardiology, and I'm still waiting to go. My appointment's in like 3 more weeks. Our lovely healthcare system at the moment. Actually, I was pretty happy. It only took like 5 weeks to get an appointment. A lot of my patients who are trying to see specialists, it takes them 3 months to get an appointment. Like, I don't know, there's just not enough doctors. They're busy. We're not paying them enough. There's a lot of problems. But anyway, so I'll keep you updated after I see the cardiologist. But what else do I want to tell you? So back to how I got it. This part is the frustrating part to me. So after the fact, my patient, when we were both better, came back and I was like, yeah, you got me sick. Oh, he called to cancel and he's like, I'm sick, I can't come in. I'm like, I know, you gave it to me. And guess what? It's COVID. And he was like, what? I went to urgent care. They didn't tell me it was COVID. So I thought at that point, like, he had gone to urgent care after he became more symptomatic. But I found out later. But when we were both back, He tells me like, oh, the day before I saw you last time, I went to urgent care for a sore throat. And I looked at him like, excuse me? You knew you were sick? And he's like, well, they didn't tell me I had COVID. They just told me I had a respiratory virus. And I'm like, bro, what does a respiratory virus means? It means you're sick. Stay home, right? Or wear a mask at the very minimum. Like, he didn't wear a mask. He didn't cancel. He didn't tell me he was sick. He just came in and breathed all over me, all over my office. And I think I was so caught off guard that he knew he was sick. Like I said earlier, I'm very clear in my policies. Like, if you're sick, please cancel, please reschedule, please let us know. We won't charge you a cancellation fee or a late fee. And this is exactly why. And so we're going on, blah, blah, blah. And then I see him again. We schedule another appointment, and I was thinking about it over this time. I'm like, I'm really angry that you knew you were sick. You came in, you didn't tell me you're sick, you didn't tell me you'd been to the urgent care, you didn't tell me you had a respiratory virus, you didn't tell me you had a sore throat, and you got me sick. And there's consequences, right? And I was just like, this is all I could think about is like, I'm angry. And so at the end of that time, I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about this and like, I can't see you anymore because this is what I think about, that I'm angry that you got me sick and I can't give you my best care, And a big reason I started my own practice was I really want to give people the best care possible. And also, I should say, thinking about this scenario, in our US healthcare system, I don't know if it's this way other places, but I feel like healthcare workers are just expected to sacrifice their bodies, their physical health and their mental health for their patients. And I'm like, that is not what I signed up for. If you think about all the healthcare workers that worked through the pandemic in 2020, before there were vaccines, before there was any known treatments, and they just overload us with patients, right? I've had so many physical therapist friends that have thrown out their backs, transferring patients, moving patients around, helping them walk, right? And I'm just like, no, this is why I had my own practice to, number one, it was for my mental health, but number two, it's for my physical health too. So this is your reminder. Again, stay home when you're sick, wear a mask, don't spread your germs, whether it's COVID or not. That's the other thing I hear people say is like, oh, it's not COVID, so like I can go out. And then, nobody wants your other germs either. But the thing is, like, this didn't just affect me, it affected all of my patients, right? Like, I have my own practice, I'm the only physical therapist. And so all my patients, their care got delayed by 2 weeks too. So it affected a lot of other people too. So that's why I was like, nope, you can't come back here. And it feels weird, but it feels like the right decision. It just, no, don't get other people sick. That's not okay. If you go to urgent care, that probably means you need to stay home. And yes, I wish urgent care doctors would talk about contagiousness, right? Because one time I went there, I got pink eye from my boyfriend. And the doctor was like, obviously, this is really contagious for 24 hours. And I only got that information because I asked, when can I go back to work? And then I remember that urgent care doctor looking at me like, don't you know this is contagious? But like, they didn't call it pink eye. They called it like, I don't know, bacterial eye infection or something. And yeah, so urgent care doctors, yes, could do a little bit better educating, but if you're sick, if you have symptoms, if you're coughing, if you have a sore throat, stay the F home, right? Regardless of whether it's COVID or the flu or just a cold, right? At the minimum, if you have to go someplace, wear a mask. Anyway, I could go on, and this is why. So anyway, I, wanted to make this video to tell you like where I've been, what's been going on. I would also say like, luckily in a good way, I've been really busy in the clinic ever since then. I haven't had to do any marketing, but also I haven't had any energy to do anything extra like make videos, write emails, do educational content, which I like to do. I would literally just see my patients and go home and sit on the couch and then sleep for like 10 hours every night. And on the weekends, didn't do anything. That I needed 2 days to recover. I've been limiting my schedule of patients, limiting my hours. Maybe it's starting to get a tiny bit better, but also I would love to have the last 2 months of my life back, and I would love to like not continue living like this. So anyway, I know long COVID is sort of like not talked about anymore. It's sort of like we're over COVID, right? Everybody had it, and whoever's left survived. But there are a lot of people living with long COVID. And I was hopeful at the beginning of the pandemic that this would be an avenue that we would research chronic disease and autoimmune disease and have some answers for some other things. But it seems like, yeah, there is still research going on, but it's not as well funded anymore, which I'm disappointed to see. Not surprised, but disappointed. So anyway, if you have long COVID, I feel for you. I felt for you before, but now I personally know what it's like, and it sucks. And this was one of my biggest fears, why I tried to avoid getting COVID for so long. Yeah, for myself, I'm hopeful. I'll keep you updated after I see the cardiologist if there's any news. Yeah, and leave a comment below if you have long COVID or if you want to know more information. And I'll see you next time.